Hello everyone. This is something pretty interesting actually. Now let me start by saying, ordinarily you should not buy anything from PC chips, even if it's old. Actually, especially if it's old. In the 90s they were notorious for making dirt cheap motherboards that actually had fake features on them. For instance, they said one model had write-back cache, and it turned out all the chips that said write-back cache were blank. They didn't do anything. The write-back cache was completely fake. They even faked it in the BIOS firmware, just to make the motherboard seem more valuable. This motherboard's from 2003. According to actually contemporary Amazon reviews from back when this came out, it's not great, but it's good. It's fine. And that's all I'm looking for at this point, because Athlon XP boards, which this is, as you can see, it's a K7 motherboard. Athlon XP boards are strangely pricey these days. This one I got for about 40 bucks. It's probably because the brand, PC Chips, made everybody not want it, but it seems like it's actually fine. And the only thing I've done so far is I've cut the security bands that were on here. I didn't think it was like actually brand new. Thought maybe it just looked like it, but no, as you can see, these bands were on here for so many years that it started cutting into the box and like buckling the bottom. And so when I took these bands off and opened this, I saw that, dude, pristine. I mean, it's gotten a little banged up at the corners because it was just kind of loose in here, but you open this, there's the driver CD. It's still sealed. The seal has never been broken on this. In fact, the disc may be ruined because the plastic might have started to deteriorate on the bottom. Well, I don't think it has, actually. Looks fine. Huh. The I.O. shield, sealed. Comes with actually a pretty decent 80 conductor IDE cable and a decent floppy cable. In a Ziploc bag, so I can't exactly say sealed, but it doesn't seem like they've been opened, and those rubber bands seem to be a bit deteriorated. Under this cardboard insert is the motherboard, which the foam pad is still in here, and sticker never removed. Now, let's go ahead and open it and have a closer look at the board. This is something I've never gotten to do on a board this old. Broke the seal. Holy crap, it smells like a new motherboard. Like brand new modern motherboards smell exactly like this. That's amazing. Remember this? The little Phoenix BIOS holographic thingamabob. You can kind of tell this is definitely a board with some cut corners. There's no active cooling on the north bridge there. It's only got 2 DRAM slots. Whatever. It does still have 2 IDE channels. I think it's got some front panel USB. Yeah, looks like it. I don't see any front panel audio. Nope, no front panel audio. No big deal though. I'm going to use an external expansion sound card anyway, more than likely. So, it's got whatever this thing is. I actually don't know what that is. I should, but I don't. We've got 5 PCI slots. Looks like they're all single function, which isn't that big of a deal. We've got a CMOS battery that is surely dead. An AGP slot, a dual voltage AGP slot, in fact. And, oh, okay, you must change the clear CMOS jumper. 3 pin headers with red cap to normal setting before installing the motherboard. Setting is currently in preserve mode to prolong battery life. Please refer to user manual to locate this jumper. Pretty sure that's it. It described what it was. Yeah, it's not labeled though, so. Oh, yeah, it is. We'll see what that battery voltage is when we turn it on, because systems do have a way to check that internally. I guess this chip's probably got something to do with the audio. I have no idea. Now, another thing I've noticed is there are a lot of jumper settings on this board for a board of this era, which is kind of making me think, yeah, this is a cheap board. I mean, I know it is. I didn't pay much for it, and you wouldn't have paid that much for it back in the day either. Which probably means I'm going to have to be careful with what CPU I put in here, because I need to make sure I don't blow it sky high. And this is DDR, right? It's an Athlon, so surely. Okay, yeah, it's DDR. Let's go ahead and take it back on there so I don't actually forget to do that. Sorry for anybody who's got a little OCD. I'm not going to leave that on there for very long. Man, I can't get over. It just smells brand new. It smells exactly like when I built my Ryzen system not too long ago. Man, it is a gorgeous motherboard. It's really skinny, which is kind of funny. The only other board I've seen that was this skinny was actually an Intel desktop board. It was a Pentium 3 board. I would guarantee you, based on how few capacitors there are up here, this is not a good board for overclocking. I'm just going to throw a thoroughbred CPU in there and call it a day. I'm not going to mess with any of that. Let's have a look at the CD, shall we? Oops. Actually, a pretty good silk screened label. And there is a little bit of a rot ring, but nothing too serious. I bet it'll read okay. Oops. They don't intend you to put the disc back in there, but I want to because it's, you know, it's pretty much pristine. I/O shield. There's really no reason to open the I/O shield yet, but let's have a look at these cables. It's funny to see a motherboard come with these cables. Wow. I won't be using... Well, I might use this, actually. I forget, that system doesn't have 2 floppy drives. This would be fine. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is old, alright. Yep. No elasticity anymore. But the IDE cable is a similar number. Actually, this one's made out of different stuff. This one's fine. Weird. Okay. This is actually pretty high quality feeling. Not gonna lie. It's not very long. But if it's just going to the hard drives, I guess it doesn't really matter. The floppy drive cable is just a floppy drive cable. There's nothing too special about it. Let's have a look at this manual. This drawing on the front is absolutely hilarious to me. Copyright 2003, KT266A, May 2003. I think this is actually an older chipset than I've ever used before. Owing to Microsoft's certifying schedule is various to every supplier, we might have some drivers not yet certified by Microsoft. Therefore, it might happen under Windows XP that a dialog box shown as below pop out warning you this software has not passed Windows logo testing to verify its compatibility with Windows XP. Please rest assured that our R&D department has already tested and tested and verified these drivers. Click the Continue Anyway button to go ahead the installation. That's funny. That's like they put effort into this. That's only very slightly Englishy. That's actually, I think that's better than MSI manuals at the time. Thank you for choosing this mainboard. It is a high performance and high quality mainboard which is built around the latest and fastest VIA KT266A plus VT8235 chipset, providing superior performance between the CPU, DRAM, AGP bus, and V-Link bus with pipelined, burst, and concurrent operation. This mainboard supports socket 462 that accommodates AMD Athlon processors with a front-side bus speeds of up to 133 MHz. Yeah, so it's pretty stout. It's not bad. I really bought this just because the seller gave me a good offer on it, not because not because it was a motherboard that I was like hand-picking. Ooh, USB 2.0. I wasn't sure if it was going to have that, honestly. Bundled software. PC Cillin 2002 automatic virus protection. Oh, give me a break! Wow. Media ring talk. I actually had a few systems come with that. 3 Deep delivers the precise imagery and displays accurate color in your monitor. Okay. PC DJ is a dual MP3 player that enables users to actually mix music right on their own personal computers. Acrobat 5, not that big of a deal. ATX. Static electricity precautions. Whatever that port at the bottom isn't even pictured in here. Wait. It's an audio header. Oh, that's what that is. That's not a jumper setting. That's the front panel audio. They actually already have it jump so that you don't have to connect it. How nice of them. Yep, we know what all the ports on the back are. CPU installation procedure. Unhook the CPU socket's locking lever by pulling it away from the socket and raising it to the upright position. Apply thermal paste, lower the CPU fan heatsink unit. Supports up to 2 gigs of RAM. I'm probably going to install half a gig. CMOS clear. Okay, so that is how you set the front side bus speed. Okay, that's important. I'll have to look up what the CPU I have actually uses. Install the main board, front panel, connecting optional devices, yeah. USB front panel, USB card reader. That's interesting. The card reader shares bandwidth with one of the USB ports on the back if you want to install that. Weird, okay. The floppy disk drive. Wow, it's actually a multi-mode floppy controller. It supports 1 or 2 drives, and it supports all the sizes. Wow. Okay. The last Athlon XP motherboard I had didn't do that. It was only 1. Expansion slots. Setup utility. Yep, you got a standard award BIOS set up there. Actually a pretty cool printout of it, though. Huh, I can appreciate that. That actually means I don't necessarily have to have that dedicated floppy disk writing machine anymore if I didn't want to. I could put the 5 1/4 inch drive in the XP machine. That's goofy. All your standard options that systems from this time had. Control all the stuff and the things and the stuff and the things. If you can't get an ISA expansion card to work, it doesn't have ISA slots on it. Doesn't look like the battery voltage is actually shown on that screen. It's a pretty bare bones manual, frankly, but it tells you what you need to. Oh my gosh, I don't want to see that computer in my dreams. He looks like he's trying things. Anyway, this is actually, it's a pretty bare bones manual, but it tells you everything you could possibly need to know about actually getting this installed. It doesn't contain any like troubleshooting information, really. Seems like. Overall, oops, I just threw rubber band dust all over my my bed. Oh well. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the quality of this board, considering the reputation this company had and still has. I'm not going to be able to install this board in a computer until probably later today, if even then, so I'm going to slide it right back into its anti-static bag. I saw a few of these for sale, not a whole lot, probably because people don't like this company, frankly. But this was the only one I saw that was like in its box. And not only was it in its box, it had never been removed from its box. Which, I just love things like that. I love opening new in-box stuff from years past that aren't actually valuable. Because it's like, I'm getting an experience that lots of people got back in the day. That's I know this isn't quite how it went in, but I'm not going to leave it closed for very long. When I come back home after running errands this afternoon, I'm going to work on it. But, yeah. Alright, so, I know this probably looks similar to the motherboard that we were just talking about and viewing, but what you see before you is actually an Athlon 64 board. And we're going to be removing this. We don't want this. This is the jankiest Windows XP computer I have ever built, and so I don't want it anymore. In fact, So much so that the power supply apparently was failing. So I've got a different power supply in here that I'm going to mount that real quick. I actually mentioned it before I started the video, but oh well, whatever. It's just that mounting a power supply isn't very exciting or interesting. We've all seen it done, and even in modern systems it's not that much different. Got 90 minutes on the memory card here. Let's see if I can do all this in 90 minutes. I doubt it, but we're going to give it a shot, so might as well try, right? Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and get these IDE cables out of the way. I don't know if these are like both ASUS IDE cables or what. Very nice looking, can tell you that much. This is like an HP floppy cable, I think. I might swap that out too. We'll see about that one. Okay. Go ahead and disconnect all of the power cables. Get that out of the way. Now let's see what kind of RAM is in here, because I might recycle this RAM. Yeah, let's see, 256 and 256. It is DDR400, which I don't know for sure is going to work in that board, but the capacity is at least correct for what I'm wanting to do. Alright, so we're not going to worry about the CPU cooler. It's fine in there, it doesn't really matter. We do need to take out the graphics card, obviously, and we will not be recycling the graphics card because it's PCI Express. I need AGP for this motherboard I'm putting in here. Yeah, so this is a card from 2005 and it's still PCI Express. Just like modern graphics cards. It is PCI Express 1 though, of course. It's a 6600 GT, I believe. 6600 GT, 128 meg. So I'm going to be putting in a Radeon 9600 Pro. The Radeon 9600 Pro actually performs better than the GeForce 5600 Ultra, I think. Which is really impressive, because the 5600 Ultra has to have supplemental power. The 9600 Pro does not have supplemental power. Both are pretty good cards for the time, though, to be clear. Alright, so there's those. And we have an expansion sound card in here. I don't really know why I was using that in this machine, but apparently I was. I'll definitely be using it in the new machine, because I doubt that a PC chips motherboard is going to have a very good audio chipset. What is this? A Sound Blaster Live? Yeah, Sound Blaster Live. And then up here are USB connectors. Which, yeah, it's all fine and dandy. And then our front panel connectors. One thing I've got to be careful about is I do not want to connect the power button on this board. The power button is sticky, and always has been, and it's always caused me trouble. So I'm going to connect the reset button to where the power button should go, and just not connect the power button, and just, you know, not have a reset button, actually. So that's the plan. And now we just got to get the new motherboard in there. I'm going to have it at the ready over here. So first things first, let's get this thing out of here. My only real fear here is that the CPU that I'm trying to use is going to not work. The motherboard it was in failed, and what seems to have failed about said board is the capacitors along the CPU voltage regulation circuit. It's entirely possible that that has gone completely bad and fried the CPU. If so, good news is putting a dead CPU into a motherboard usually doesn't kill a motherboard. So, I'll just order another one. They're like 15 to 20 bucks, which is quite a bit for a CPU that's this old, especially considering you can get Athlon 64s and Core 2 Duos and whatnot for $5 all day long. But it is doable. So I'll do it if I have to. I just want to make sure the motherboard works at all though, so. Is that all of them? Yep. And there we are. It's a red motherboard. I've used this thing for many, many years. This was my gaming PC at one point. This motherboard was Windows XP. This was much later Windows XP era though. This is almost Windows Vista era. Now let's open up our new board. We'll start with the I/O shield. There we are. It's a pretty boring I/O shield, but this is a cheap motherboard even back in the day, so I can't complain too much. So to figure out the orientation, it looks like, yeah, it looks like the parallel port and the PS2 ports go toward the top. So let me install this real quick. And if you're wondering, no, there was not an I/O shield with the board that was in here. There we go. Sweet. Got all four corners in there. Here's the motherboard in all of its glory. It's much smaller, easy to work with. It really reminds me of my Pentium 3 motherboard. It's just not for a Pentium 3, it's for an Athlon XP. So now what I need to make sure of is that the standoffs are in the correct positions. And they appear to be. This is actually a pretty simple configuration. The only exception is this one. Looks like this board expects one over here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 standoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes on the motherboard. I just need to make sure they all line up. I'm honestly sweating bolts right now because I'm really afraid this thing's not going to work. It's not like I can return it either because it was new in box. If it doesn't work, it's either my fault or it was a manufacturing defect from over 15 years ago. Something's not mating correctly. Oh, it's the Ethernet port. I forgot they used to do that. There we go. I'll do this one first. This one next. That. That's like that. Some stuff is not correct. So you're going to mix out multiple cases. I'm going to this one. Right? Yeah, it's fine for LED. See that? Okay. Weird. Alright, last one. Okay. There's that. Next up, the hard part. Here's our CPU. which again, I'm a little afraid may not actually function. That's what an Athlon XP looks like. No integrated heat spreader on this puppy. Where's my cooler? It's over there. This cooler may not look like much, and frankly it's not, but it moves a ton of air considering how small it is. So it should be good enough. It's frankly not as good as I would like it to be for a CPU that runs this hot, but what can you really do? Anyway, these are tough to install, so hopefully you don't break anything when I do it. For thermal pasting, I'm using Arctic MX4, which is something that didn't even exist when this motherboard came out, but you know what? That's okay. Hopefully it will prolong the life a bit. I cannot get the cap off of this thing. I've never used this. There we go, okay. So, you know, they say don't use very much on modern CPUs. You really don't want to use very much on just a bare die CPU like this. Like, maybe that much? Oops. Maybe a tiny bit more? Nah. That's probably plenty. It's not like putting thermal paste on a modern CPU. It makes full contact all the time. And you have to be careful mounting the cooler because you do not want to damage the CPU die, which again isn't really hard to do under such circumstances. Okay, let me just okay, hold on a second. Well, the good news is I've got plenty of spread on my CPU die. I need to get this side clipped in first. It's been a while since I've done one of these. In fact, I think I've only ever done one. I need to be very careful. There we go. I managed to do it without slipping. If you slip, you can stab the motherboard and ruin it. I was really afraid that was going to happen. Alright, there appears to be only one fan header on this whole motherboard. And it's for the CPU fans, so what strange times, man. There's that. Okay. Next up, the graphics card. Here's our Radeon 9600 Pro. It doesn't look like much, once again, but it actually is quite nice. It goes in the AGP slot right here. There we go. Satisfying snap sound as it clips in. And that's all we're going to install at the moment. I'm going to leave it alone for the most part. I don't want to get things too complicated. Oh, there actually is a case fan header down there, I just noticed. That's kind of neat. Alright, so yeah, this floppy cable's not long enough, so we definitely want to use something different. The end with the twist in it always goes into the floppy drive. The fun part is figuring out the actual orientation, though. There's really not any indication on most floppy cables. You don't blow anything out if you get it in upside down, but the floppy drive will not function. Okay. The pins are a bit bent on this one too, which is making this even more challenging. There we go. This side only goes in one way though, so that's always helpful. Alright, there's the floppy cable installed. Now, here's the hard drive ribbon cable. and we're just going to... Actually, wait, we're not going to install that at all yet because that's not the hard drive we're going to be using. Just realized that. We're not going to use that sketchy 120 gig. We're going to use this 80 gig Diamondmax Plus 9, which is probably a hair faster. I will go ahead and put the other IDE ribbon for the optical drives in, though. There's that. This is a pretty old motherboard, so it's actually not ATX 12 volt compliant at all, which means only one power connector plugs into the motherboard, and it's only a 20 pin. Goes in right there like that. Here's our power connectors for the optical drives. And I guess that's it for now. I'm just going to plug in the case fans and the floppy drive. Floppy drive power is always this little bitty guy, and it plugs in to the floppy drive, obviously. Case fans are just going to... yeah, they're just going to hang out. They're just going to hang out here like this, I guess. Alrighty. And finally, I need to grab the motherboard manual and find out how the front panel stuff plugs in. Oh right, I need to set the CPU front side bus speed. So I looked it up, and this is a 266 MHz FSB, so that means we need to set it to 133. If it were a 200 MHz FSB, you'd do 100 MHz. So where's that? JP2 is down here by the battery. And, pin 1 is the far side of me, it looks like. So I need to, yeah. I don't know what happens if you set that wrong. I don't plan to find out. So, yeah, hopefully that's right. Front panel connector. These are mostly labeled, actually. I don't know why I'm bothering to look at that. I've only had one motherboard where they weren't labeled at all, and it was the MSI motherboard I just took out, actually. So that's speaker. It very clearly says. And that is LED. And power LED, question mark? This expects the new style power LED. What the heck? Yeah, I can't plug that in here. That is weird. I've never seen that on a board this old. Huh. Strange. And USB. Is it no? That's audio we're not using. That's that. Okay, so next up, let's install the RAM. And after I install the RAM, I will switch on the CMOS by changing that jumper. I just hope we don't see anything go up in smoke when I turn this on, because that'll make me sad. The motherboard didn't cost much. It's not really a loss. Like, it's not a very big loss. But this is just a cool experience, and I would like it to work out. Alright, let's switch the CMOS jumper. This motherboard is getting powered in some way for the first time ever. More than likely. Let's move that out of the way like that. The fan can breathe a bit. I I guess now is as good a time as any to find out if this thing works. Smoke test. Nothing went up in smoke yet. We got power. I don't know what that long beep meant, but we got a floppy drive seek test. Well, in that case, we do have power. Let me install the hard drive. Installing the hard drive isn't like it's a super exciting thing. I just have to get to the other side of the case, so I need to adjust the camera angle. Honestly, that beep might have meant the video card doesn't work, which, once again, is going to make me a little bit sad. But I had stupidly just thrown that video card in a bag full of other circuit boards, so it wouldn't really surprise me if it had gone to seed at this point. But our CPU's not dead. At least, not in a way that prevents a post. So far so good. I was definitely getting some pretty noticeable capacitor failure on the last Athlon XP board I had because the internal speaker, you could just barely hear it. And as you could hear, this does have a true speaker and not one of those little buzzers, so it's pretty loud. Also, I think this hard drive probably has somebody else's copy of Windows XP on it. It was a garage sale find, so there's no telling what's on it. Alright, here's the hard drive. Let's throw it in here like so. Okay. Alright. How are we doing on time here? How are we doing? Camera, come on. Okay, we can record another hour. I think that screw's a little bit messed up. Come on. Either that or this hard drive has never been screwed in from the sides and it was screwed in from the front originally. It's also a possibility. Okay, that side in. Okay, there's that. Now all I need to do is plug in the ribbon cable and power to the drive. And the latter is going to be a little bit more difficult than expected because of the way I've got the cables run, I think. Oh, it's partially because it's kind of stuck behind the motherboard. There you go. There we go. Okay. Alright. Here is our ribbon cable. Plug that in. Whoops. Like so. And plug in the other side into the hard drive, like so. Aren't you glad we don't have to deal with these dumb things anymore? Serial attached storage is amazing. Okay, let's fix this power connector. Also, cable management in this case is just impossible. Cable management is impossible in a lot of early, like late 90s and early 2000s cases. Especially on gaming PCs, because people hadn't figured out how airflow really needed to work yet. They were pretty much just throwing air at things that ran hot and calling it good. So, anyway, here we go. I only have one expansion card. That's okay. Let's go ahead and close the back panel. I'm not gonna put the main side panel on just yet. And we're gonna go over there and test it. Well, here it is all closed up. I haven't plugged in the power again yet, but I'll do that now. It turned itself on. That doesn't bode well for that battery. Could mean the batteries could put... Whoa. 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 It just came right to life with a thoroughbred chip in it. I thought it was going to do the little reset-y thing that a lot of boards from this era did, but no. Come on, focus. There we go. Thinks it's... No, the clock is good. The clock is good. It's been running for about 10 minutes, which is when I switched it over, so... Alright. It is... March... Whoops, the numlock isn't on. 20th, 2021. And it is... midnight 28. We have a single 3.5-inch floppy drive, that is correct. I've got it set to halt on all errors, that's what I want. First device is floppy. SCSI and LS120 are options. This thing doesn't mess around. I like this motherboard already. Alright, HDD 0 is there. Boot up floppy seek is enabled, that's what I want. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll let it show that logo. Smart capability, sure. And, DRAM frequency is really slow. Okay. I might ought to get some more appropriate RAM for this machine, but oh well. Yeah, we've got all this stuff that I honestly have no idea what any of this means. Yeah, I'll enable that. Why not? Not that CIH is running loose at this time, but... Alright, LBA is enabled. Yeah. Yeah, alright. Dude, we're in business here. ACPI is enabled. Okay. Soft off by power button. Yeah, state after power failure is off, I guess. Okay. What else we got? Plug and play OS. Yes, I guess we're installing a plug and play OS, right? Yeah. PC health. CPU fan is freaking just racing. Alright, frequency voltage control. Obviously nothing too crazy there. Yeah, pretty just standard no-nonsense BIOS. I can appreciate that. I've yet to find another motherboard that has a power on from keyboard option, though. The way the Athlon XP board that I unfortunately ruined did. It was actually really cool because there was an option to make it power on with the keyboard's power button. So if you had a PS2 keyboard that had a power button on it, you could push that to turn the whole computer on. So... Oh yeah, it's trying to boot something. Oh my gosh, it really is trying to boot Windows XP. I think it locked up though, because this is not the machine that that operating system is from. Well, let me track down a Windows XP disk, and I'll also close the case all the way up, I guess, because yeah, we're ready to go now. Let's give it another try. I've got the case sealed up, and I've got the Windows XP CD in the drive. That is a really fast post. And there we are. We're booting up. Yep. This is a dream come true. I've tried so many times to get an Athlon XP system running again. I finally have one. The hard drive light's working, which is funny because like the last two motherboards I've used in here, the hard drive light didn't work on them for some reason. So yeah, here we go, dude. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I managed to score a brand new motherboard. This drive is really full. I'm actually really curious what's on it now. Like, all I did was open it and discover there was a Windows directory on it. I'm not going to show you that on video, obviously, but I just want to know, like, what was the system used for? Because that's... Dude, that's a lot of data. So I tried to launch Parted Magic on here, and I don't know. I think something's wrong. I can't quite place it. Now what's really weird is all this is messed up, but the little gadget over here is fine. And frankly, we're doing pretty well. I think that was the log out, but okay. No, that was mount. What? Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna guess this one's log out. If we can get back to the configuration menu this way, or just nothing. All right. Well, let's just Control-Alt-Delete then. All right. Yeah, we're able to reboot. Yeah, that was weird. Now, the drive is in FAT32, so I might be able to explore it using FreeDOS. Let's see. I just don't think this is right. I don't see how this drive could be power cycled 15 times. And it also seemed like it had only been running for like 300 hours or something. This drive said it ran into 2013. Maybe this was like some kind of backup drive? I don't know, man. It's weird. That is strange. I don't know, let's see. Does anything say something different? Yeah, let's do this one. That wasn't very useful. Okay, let's... No, stop. Stop. Let's try... Is it disk info? Not disk ingo. Disk info. Okay. Disk info. More. Alright. So here's our hard drive, I guess. No, this is our hard drive. Okay. I'm confused. I don't know what most of this means. Okay, this isn't very useful. I don't really understand what just... Okay, so I clearly don't understand what I'm looking at, aside from the smart information, and... I don't know, man. That's just weird. Okay. Alright, so... Well, anyway, let's go ahead and... let's have a look at this drive, because... I did look at it a little bit, and I said I wasn't going to show this in the video, but this is too funny, dude. Windows key finder. There's Office XP, Service Pack 1 and Service Pack 3, and then Office XP crack. I mean, come on, that's just funny to me. I had to show that. And there's just lots of JPEGs and stuff like that on here. Let's go into program files and see what was installed. 7-zip was installed. Huh. Avery label software, the AskBar, Aladdin systems. I guess they probably had Stuff Expander on there at some point. I don't know what else Aladdin systems even makes. ArcSoft, yeah. eBay, DVD Fab 8, H&R. See, they were doing their taxes in 2013 on this computer with an 80 gig hard drive. That's just like, man, what the heck? That's just respectable. Microsoft Money 05. I don't really know what version of Office this is. I assume it's Office XP, considering that's what was cracked, but it's hard to tell. Motherboard Monitor 5, Movie Maker, MSN Music, MSN Gaming Zone, Net Meeting, I remember that. Norton 360. The Palm Desktop software is on here. That's cool. Panicware. What the heck is Panicware? Poker, Power Quest, Plus Deck 2, Photo Deluxe HE 3.0, it says. Roxio software, Smith Micro, Soyo. The Soyo hardware monitor is on here? There's an SAS chipset. Was this used with a Soyo Dragon? It might have been. My Soyo Dragon worked, it might have booted on there. Dude, that's wild. Okay. Windows Desktop Search was installed. Yeah, they had some new updates on here. Windows Live. They had Windows Sidebar on here, which... that would mean they probably have Alki. Somewhere, at least. Wow. Infograms. What stuff is on here? Scrabble 2 from Infograms. Dude, this is kind of hilarious. Humongous Entertainment Games. Yep, they were playing backyard baseball. What do you know? Some keygen stuff, you know. Let's get at their application data. Yep, they have stuff at... oh, that's what I thought. Flash player. Yep. Snapfish. That's cool. Alright, let's see, local settings, application data. Wow, temp files are plentiful. Yep, that's a well-used computer right there. History.ie5. That's a weird thing. My documents, oh my gosh. Passmark, this guy was using Passmark? What music was he listening to? New folder, my favorite. Okay. Some Audible stuff. Lots of documents. I don't actually see a downloads folder. Phone browser. My gallery, yeah, there's... I guess this is just like you pull files off of an old Nokia, and they show up there. My goodness, dude. Yep, there's the Hotsync manager. There in his startup information, or startup programs, I mean. This guy had a Palm Pilot. I bet there was a Palm Pilot for sale at that garage sale my parents didn't find. That's cool. I would like to have had that if it really was there. Yep. Man, this thing is just, it's mostly just full of software. Like, holy cow, dude. This was a lived-in computer for sure. Smith Micro. What does Smith Micro make? It's Check It Diagnostics. Wow. Sounds like some adware to me. So some of these are like, yeah, 2008, 2002. 2002. This probably was an Athlon XP. Or a Pentium 4. One of the two. It's like, yeah, like 2004. 2012 all of a sudden. 2010. Like, this is nuts. I don't think I've ever seen a computer in this kind of situation. Regardless. It's getting pretty late. So I should probably just erase the drive and hurry up and install Windows. I just thought this was entertaining. Also, there's whatever this is here. Why is there a Palm... Wait a second. This was a solitaire game that would synchronize with your Palm Pilot? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's amazing. I almost want to copy that off. That's so cool. I don't have any way of copying stuff off of this machine, though. I don't think, unless FreeDOS has... I guess FreeDOS might have mass storage support. I don't know. Let's see here. Mass storage. Oh, I guess you have to have the device plugged in. Grab Sam Flynn and put him in the USB port. Why did that, like... I guess because it's not active? Alright. Yep, there it lit up. Oh. Oh. Okay. So that did not, that didn't work. We got a kernel panic. Even called it Tron Legacy. Then we just kernel panicked and system halted. Okay. Control Alt Delete, I guess. Yeah, certainly can't say I've had that happen before. That was interesting. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open Power Max. And test the drive and see if it's really that young. There's our drive. We'll do a basic quick test. You can kind of hear it. That's funny, I said the hard drive indicator was working, but now it doesn't seem to be. Weird. Or maybe it doesn't work. Oh, because it's the smart self-test. It's not actually... I gotcha. That makes more sense. Focus on something. Alright. Congratulations, your drive has passed the basic test. Passed. I don't know what installation confirmation even means, but... Okay. Well, alrighty then. Time to install Windows XP, I guess. Well, guys, sorry for the flicker, but we made it. I literally just logged in for the first time. There's our CPU. We don't have antivirus, did you know that? I don't want to take a tour of Windows XP right now. So, surprisingly, Windows XP has built-in support for this card to some degree. So that's interesting. Is it gonna help at all if I switch it to 60 Hertz for you? The answer is clearly yes. Wow. Okay, I'll leave it on 60 Hertz for the purpose of the video for now. I'll switch that later. So obviously, I don't have the ATI control panel, but I can fix that later. But for now, we actually do have native resolution, and I think we should have 3D acceleration. Sure, I don't actually have internet right now, but you do you. Oh man, I haven't heard that sound in a while. Here, no sound driver installed, so... Makes that sound when messages pop up. Wow, it's been a minute on that. That's always a little bit trippy. Hey, we saw that. Oh well, that's kind of fast there. There's our full screen mode. There's always a very nice trail behind it on this monitor. This monitor doesn't have a super high persistence phosphor, but it's just enough to be delightful. Direct draw works. How about Direct 3D? Direct 3D 7 is working well. Yes, indeed, I did. Direct 3D 8. Yep, Direct 3D 9. There you go. This is a good video card for a computer like this. Yes, I did. All tests were successful. We got AGP texture acceleration, whatever the heck that actually means, because I do not know. There is our graphics driver. Dated 2008, huh? Must actually not be included with Windows XP, and rather the driver was just slipstreamed into this third-party system file, or install disk ISO thing. Yeah. No sound card was found. So, now there's that. Input. We got PS2 keyboard and mouse. Yeah. Dude, we've even got Ethernet going on here. I didn't even really think about that. Yeah. There's our built-in Ethernet adapter. Let me get my desktop icons fixed. I can't stand that. There we go. So we are basically good now. Let me just make some finishing touches here with my settings. Oh wow, the scroll wheel is a little faulty on this. You want to look at some example pictures? Oh yeah, there you go. Well anyway, I guess we should probably install the device drivers, so let me... Main reason I use this is because it is a cracked disk, and activating Windows XP in the modern age is just kind of a pain in the neck. You pretty much have to use phone activation, which takes a while, and it doesn't always work. Like, oh goodness, it doesn't always work in my experience. So anyway, let's get our PC chips disk out of its protective plastic. Here it is. Let's put it in the drive and hope it reads. It is a little bit rotted just from sitting around for so long, but we should be good, I think. It's trying, at the very least. This drive acts a little weird. Oh, what the heck? Setup initiation. Setup is launching. Please wait. Oh my gosh. Oh. Install the auto setup program. Browse the CD title. Exit. Why are there 2 exclamation points after everything? Okay. Oh, I spit all over the screen. Okay. Now what do we got? We got Acrobat Reader. Looks like it's version 5. Show Shifter. What is Show Shifter? Man, I really got... That seems like it could actually be kind of cool. PC Cillin. Oh, it's Trend Micro. Okay, it's probably not bad, like terrible then. Media Ring, we don't really need that. Pro Magic Plus. Whatever, I guess I'll install that just for the heck of it. README. Okay. Let's go ahead and run the auto setup program. Auto setup. Man, this just reeks of quality. Well, at least it's branded with the motherboard model number. That's a good sign. IDE and device. Oh, LAN and sound. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. I know I've already got the LAN driver, but... So on the IDE driver, it's probably going to give us like Ultra DMA support, so... Set up via service pack. Reading package. Uh-oh. This is the install package that has messed up my Windows installation on other motherboards. See if it does it on this one. If so, then I'm just going to wait until tomorrow to reformat. something running, but I don't see anything. Hard disk indicator's not really doing anything either. I'll come back once I get something done. So, some part of the setup is 16-bit program, as you can see there by the fact that WoW exec and NTVDM are running. So, yeah, once again, quality. You hear that? You have sound from the built-in sound card. And I think this thing actually has some sort of like really basic 3D audio support. I don't know, I'll test it with Half-Life at some point, I guess. We'll see. There it is. It is an AC97 compliant audio chipset. I'm not like super impressed with it or anything, but oops. It certainly seems to get the job done. 3D depth. Why is that a... okay. That is a... I didn't even... that... okay, that's weird. Alright. Alright. I'll leave that there just for fun, but I don't know what that does. Yeah, so... let's try installing some of this other crap. Also, like, it just has a browse CD button. I don't really know why. Like, there's just crap in here. Oh, it comes with WinFlash to update the BIOS, I guess. That's interesting. And there is the DOS-based flash. There's the AMI flash. What the heck? But this doesn't have an AMI BIOS. This is kind of lazy, isn't it? Unless a different revision of this same board had an AMI BIOS. I guess that's possible. But anyway, let's show shifter. Okay, well, we'll install this. It's probably just terrible, but I have to say I'm curious about Media Center software from 2003. My email address is certainly .at.com. Okay. Alright, I'll enter my email address, I guess. Okay. Huh, okay. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, install it there. Yeah. Wow, I forgot how, like, many questions installers used to ask you. They were so helpful. That is a crunchy icon. Then again, this same software set was probably used for whatever version of Windows you installed with this motherboard, and it could run down to Windows 98. Yeah, I'm not connected to the internet, Chief. What? I'm not connected. There's not even an Ethernet cable plugged in. No. No, I wouldn't. Okay, sure, yeah, reboot my PC. Why are you opening Internet Explorer? I mean, sure. Oh, yeah, sure. Bro. This isn't even on the internet. This is so fake. How do I? I don't know. How do I? Alright, let's just open Show Shifter. This is probably spyware. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's hideous. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah? Oh, really? Oh, wow, that's bad. I'm just... Oh. Okay. Wow. This is an awful program. Slumber mode. Slumber mode? Sure, we'll do slumber mode. Is it actually putting anything to sleep, or does it just, you know, it just turns the monitor off? Okay, yeah, let's get me out of here. That is awful. Wow. Speaking of sleep mode, though, does this system actually sleep? Well, hard drive turns off. That's better than some machines from this time. Move the mouse, I hear the hard drive come back on. And there you go. Alright, well, let's see what other crap we can get on here. That program, that is like... That's not even like funny bad. That's just actually bad. That's just actually terrible. I've never been so disgusted and offended by visual design in my life. I wonder what this Pro Magic Plus Lite version, though, is. You're about to install, let's say, Pro Magic Plus Lite version. You'll be able to use Pro Magic Plus as restore and save functions, which only able to create one restore point. You can, the full version, which will have multi-boot, multi-point restore. Okay, it's not cool. It's just wildfile go back. No thanks. Windows XP has system restore. I'm good. That was an experience. Well, I really don't have a lot of time left, and it is all too late, but I finally got Catalyst to work. It told me I needed .NET 2.0. That was wrong. It needed .NET 3.5. Then after I installed .NET 3.5, it said you need 3.5 Service Pack 1. Then I had to go all the trouble of installing 3.5 Service Pack 1. So it was ridiculous. 3-step process. And ultimately, yeah, I did eventually get it installed. So now we are running a newer graphics driver version, which I guess is from 2010. So yeah, something a little improved at least. And I installed Kyodai Mahjong, which is always our benchmark on this channel. So let's see how it does. I don't know why it doesn't hide the taskbar on most computers that I try to use it on. It's weird. I guess allow pure device, whatever the heck that means, I don't know. But yeah, so here we are. Let's there we go. AGP seems to be working just fine. Looks great. Granted, this is only 1024 by 768, but I mean, yeah, man. Heck yeah. We're killing it here. Like, seriously, this is This is fantastic. I am... Like, I don't really know what I expected. It is a brand new motherboard. It was probably always going to work just fine, but this is just... I'm so happy to have this working so well. Yep. And although, you know, it's not... It seems to be causing a weird lag. Although it's not exactly the most reasonable computer to have in the modern era, it still does quite well for what it is. Honestly, if you're wanting to do Windows XP games, it makes way more sense to use an Athlon 64 or even a Core 2 Duo and install Windows XP on that. Just keep the RAM at 1 gig and you won't run into memory problems on older games. However, if you're wanting to run some older stuff, it will feel weird and probably too fast on a machine that new. Plus, I already have the Mac Pro that I can run games on if I want to run things well. This is something special because this case and this DVD drive, in fact, are the exact things that were in one of my first computers. There was a different CD drive here that died. There was a different floppy drive down there that kind of worked, but not really. Hard drive that was in there failed a long time ago. And there was a Soyo Dragon motherboard in there that, well, those things are just unreliable to begin with. Also, there was like a fluorescent light bulb in there that lit up everything blue. That quit working at some point, so I replaced the side fan with one that glows blue instead. And, you know, the fans, all their bearings were going out, so I replaced all of them. The power supply has long since died. So, really, the only thing in here, the only things that are original to this computer are the case and this DVD drive. But you know what? The fact that it's so similarly spec'd to what I had gives it a lot of the same feeling of what I had. And that makes me happy. So, I'm happy with how this turned out. I'm glad it seems to be running so well. It doesn't actually run that hot. I'm amazed at how much better thermal paste did for the thermals on this. So, yeah. That's it, man, and I'm gonna switch the refresh rate to something that doesn't hurt my head. Can this thing do 85? Yes, it most certainly can. Alright. Alrighty. Thank you all very much for watching, and good night.